At Line 6, we've solved all the problems associated with typical analog wireless systems, and we've done it digitally. Our products like the XDR series and the XDS series utilize digital transmission to overcome all of these challenges. Those who benefit the most are vocalists, musicians, and live performers who demand the freedom of being untethered, but with the performance and reliability of a direct wired connection.
Bosch Communication Systems, a business unit of Bosch Security Systems, is now one of the world's leading manufacturers and suppliers of professional audio, wireless, life safety, and communication equipment. Bosch Communication Systems offers complete system solutions for the world's most critical high-profile installations and events. Together, the future sounds secure.
Welcome back to Sound and Communications Viewpoint. Going right back into that bid process. What are some of the pitfalls, some of the things to be aware of as you're doing those proposals and bids?
Well, Carl, a couple things to be aware of. Usually the short time frame you get, especially on large school district bids. Many times they're put out and you've only got several weeks to respond to that. Another pitfall I think you have to be very careful about is the references and the different jobs that you've done in the past as an integrator to ensure that you have the ability to deliver the services and the quality of the product that you've put out to the RFP process.
Do you guys deal a lot with bid bonds, bid performance bonds, those kinds of things?
Well, yeah, in many cases there are several different bonds that have to be put up on multi-million-dollar contracts. That can be cash bonds. Typically it's $1 million performance bonds. And those bonds demand that if you do not perform after correction's been given, then they can terminate your company from the implementation process and bring someone in to clean that up.
Yeah, and not only that, those bonds take time too. So sometimes that short window of opportunity you've got to complete that proposal process is even shortened more by the fact that you've got those bid bonds and so forth. You got to have those ready, and there's sometimes 2 and 3, 4 days, maybe a week to get that completed.
Well, it could take even longer than that. It could take up to 30 days depending on the size of the bond. If you have to put up a $5 million bond, that takes, a little bit of paperwork to get through the banking process. But many of the smaller school institutions don't require such large amounts of deposits on bond and performance. Most vendors who work with K-12 understand that if they don't deliver and perform as expected by the customer, then their reputation will spread far and wide fastly.
Oh, absolutely. And reputation's all you got, right?
Absolutely.
In this business, the word spreads. It's funny that you do something right and the word doesn't get around very much, but man, as soon as you do something wrong, it's a nightmare for you, wouldn't you agree?
Well, absolutely. And I think there's a shift too in how companies have to respond to these type RFPs for audiovisual technology. When we talk about the classroom, we talk about a number of different components that go in the classroom. As we talked earlier, they're looking for a total classroom solution. They want all the components put in. They want a turnkey solution, if you will,
right,
and the training necessary, because if you don't train the teachers and staff how to use the technology with the curriculum mandated by the state and the federal and the local governments, then it's not effective use of the taxpayers' money. So staff development has quite a bit of funding that will allow them to support bringing in your training group. Many times that is outsourced by very reputable firms who have pre-K-12 teachers that come in and do that.
Right. Interesting. Training, you talked about training in detail a little bit there, but how about dealing with unions and some of that kind of stuff during that training process?
Well, I think the whole RFP process lends itself to the region and the territory it's coming out of. There are many cases in different areas of the country where the union process that's in place it can be a good thing in the sense that it requires a quality of service and a quality of products that they look at as part of that implementation. So I think sometimes it's scrutinized much more closely by more people responsible for the funding.
Right. Interesting. So I think the last thing that to add to that would be, as we talk about all these things, the success of the RFP process. Are you finding that you're becoming more successful as you've made some of these changes, or are you finding that you're still kind of working the same way?
No, I think you find as more you do, the easier it becomes, and the more you can turn around. To be honest with you, the growth in this market is so fast and at such a fast pace, it's a challenge just to keep up with the amount of work and opportunity that's out there, especially when your company can move itself in a position to provide a total classroom solution.
Right.
The K-12 customers looking for, like I said, a turnkey solution that one company could bring in and not have to deal with multiple vendors.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that for us, that's been the key to what's changing our whole marketplace is that we're able to now provide them with that solution. We're being more successful at winning bids because we've given them the one-stop shop. We've made it a solution for them by calling CCS.
And I'm sure as with your company, as with mine, it's taken years to get to this process. It's not something we started up, a couple of days ago. It's one of those things that you learn through osmosis, through working with the customers. And our focus is strictly K-12. We do a little bit of higher ed, very little corporate. We find that the K-12 environment is unique in how it functions, how it's funded, how it operates. There's bond money, there's tax dollars that are put into it, federal, state, and local government, and then there's special ed dollars as well. So it's a market space out there that's growing very rapidly, and I think a lot of opportunity, especially in this down economy, for organizations to come in and provide products and services to the K-12 environment.
That wraps up this edition of Sound and Communications VIEWpoint, talking about the education K-12 market. I'm Carl Adams with CCS Presentation Systems, and I'm here with David Allen from Computrac Interactive Solutions and RM Company Group. Thanks for watching.